Okay, my beautiful friends, we are together again at last. What joy. Seriously. I really do love being here with all of you. That is the truth. So, it is still Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. I don't know how many of you are watching this market as it was going into the close, but what was a pretty, let's just say it was a monster rally. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up by 1,300 points at one time today. It basically gave back two-thirds of that, more than two-thirds going into the close. The Nasdaq went negative, and the S&P 500 barely put on anything. But keep this in mind too. 25% of the gains in the Dow today, about 400 and something points, was Boeing. Now, again, the government is picking winners and losers as they are nationalizing the mega corporations. So initially, Boeing had said they were not going to accept a government stake in their company, but guess what? Yeah, they're going to. They're going to be forced to. Every corporation here that is getting a part of this rescue or bailout or nationalization is going to be forced by the new America to accept a government stake in it. I mean, this is a takeover on an incredible, epic scale. But let's talk about where the real story was today. So again, yeah, we had a rally on Wall Street. The Dow finished up higher. Nothing extraordinary compared to the gains and losses we've seen lately. Nasdaq goes negative. It's pretty incredible. But the real story is this, and I'm gonna look to make sure I'm still on point here. Negative yields have finally come to the shores of, well, the new America. This would not have happened in the old world America, which is now dead and buried. But in the new America, this is what we got. The U.S. 1-month Treasury and the U.S. 3-month are both yielding negative. The 6-month is not far behind. To me, this is a very sad day for those of us left over from old world America and entering this new paradigm, this new America. It's to me. I mean, look, I'm old. I'm old. How old am I? I'm 54. To see this happen here in a country which really should have been a gleaming beacon of light around the world, now falling into some kind of a third world banana republic, and it's going to get much, much worse. Wait for the unemployment numbers tomorrow. Well, it's pretty pathetic. But let me share this with you. When the rates, when the yields went negative today, just four things just popped into my head. I know you can't read that, so I'll read it to you. And this is in no particular order. Okay, so this is what negative yields mean to me. Hold that thought. So number one, it's a no confidence vote for the economy. Number two, those individuals or whoever's holding this debt is guaranteed to suffer a loss. That's pretty incredible. It's more proof to me, and more than likely to you, that we are in a debt market super bubble. And number four, like I said, I wrote four things down just off the top of my head. The fourth one here is the Fed will follow with more rate cuts into the negative. That's coming as well to punish the American people. That's what this is all about. We're getting a thrashing on an epic scale. So also, from what I understand, the government, the new American government, is going to be giving checks out to American citizens making less than $75,000 a year to the tune of $1,200. Wow, what a windfall. What are you going to do with that? I mean, you can't make this stuff up if you tried. It's impossible. But that's where we are at with regard to, look, I personally think that we should, whoever, unless you really are desperate, you should burn it. This is not how a free society works. But again, people don't want to be free. People want to be taken care of. This is the new America. This is what the New World Order is feeding you, what you want. They're giving you what you want. To be taken care of, to have nationalized corporations, to have your freedoms taken away, your liberties taken away. A new constitution is coming. Mark my words on that. And we haven't, this is nothing. These are the opening salvos, what we're seeing coming down the pike here. I think, the age of anyone being able to sustain even the slightest bit of pain is well over with. And again, those that are in charge understand that, and they're capitalizing on it to issue in, the New World Order, where we are now, this completely new system, a completely new financial system. Understand what's going on. The Federal Reserve is buying the world. And included in that world is every aspect of the debt market that you can imagine is being bought by the Fed. We're nationalizing industries, we're nationalizing corporations, they're buying the stock market, they're buying ETFs, corporate debt, municipal debt, government debt, everything. This is their final solution, so no surprise to you at all. I've been outlining this since time immemorial that this was their end game. This was their final solution. And I'll tell you something else. Why are we not hearing anything about the amounts? Because I can't find anything. But we know it's in the trillions that the Federal Reserve is pumping into the debt markets. They're also, you have to understand something else. The Federal Reserve is dollarizing the world. They are funneling dollars to other central banks around the world. What do you think they're doing with these new American dollars? Well, of course, they're buying assets, yeah. But what kind of assets are they buying? I think that's something that should be disclosed. Obviously, it won't. It's part of this whole shadow system. I think we all realize that the shadow system run by the vampires who I've covered are running the entire world. You and I just grease the wheels with our blood, with our guts, and everything else they can suck out of us. That's where we are at here. So let's talk a little more about other assets. No, you know what? Let's stick to the stock market real quick. What we have now is an environment unlike anything we've ever seen. So we have the Federal Reserve buying the entire world, buying every single aspect of the market right now. Obviously, they're not buying metals. Obviously, they're not buying cryptocurrencies. So to me, these are the places where opportunity lies. Okay, you know all that already. I've been covering it to the point of it's just incredible. Now the stock market, I wanna talk about that a little bit more. Being that this market has no resemblance of a free market at all, and the Fed's buying it all, it's very difficult to put a price target on any of it. Up, down, sideways, round and round, whatever it feels like doing. But what we can look at least for now, is the debt market. And I explained this to you earlier today. The debt market is screaming louder and louder, at least to me, I can hear it, that there are much bigger problems coming down the pike. And the solution here, at least for now, as we have officially dipped into a negative yield environment, is this is going to get worse. There's no doubt about it. The entire yield curve is going to continue to crater. Now that we have the short end of the curve in the negative, I think the rest of it's going to follow too. And the American people are going to suffer for that. They're going to suck us all dry. That's the plan here. And to try to get us to comply, they're going to make things as unbearable as they possibly can. And then what are they going to do? They're going to offer you a big, fat, ugly solution. Oh, yeah. Big, fat, ugly solution. And it's not going to be, obviously, I mean, it's almost laughable at this point, a gold-backed currency. This digital dollar is all but done. It's just a matter of they got to flip that switch. I mean, think about it. It's already digital. There is $1.7 trillion on Earth, actual printed. The rest of it, it's all digital. And the trillions that are being shoved into this debt market, into the equity markets, central banks around the world, that's all digital too. So hold on to a few of those dollars you have, because you're going to be able to put them on your wall at one point again and tell your grandchildren, we used to use these to buy things in the store. You really mean that, Grandma and Grandpa? You had to carry those in your pocket? Oh, that must have been so inconvenient. And these pieces of metal, fake metal, you used to carry those around to buy things? Yeah, we did that. Can you believe that's how it used to be back in the day? Well, that's what you can expect. There's no doubt about it. As the one world currency, the one world government envelops us all. That's where we are at. I mean, honestly, the nationalization of corporations, the dollarization of the world, American citizens, begging for that check. I gotta have that $1,200. It's gonna change my life. If that seriously is the truth, your troubles are a lot worse than you even think they are. That's just pathetic in my book. And I know some people really do need it, but that should tell you the lies that you've been fist-fed by someone with a very strange complexion, kind of orangish, over the past few years, booming. American people, we're all rich. His words, right out of his mouth. And again, this really isn't all his fault. This started under Barack Obama. Barack Obama, yeah, he was the one who would not allow a free market to do its one and only job. It was part of the setup to where we are now. QE1 had to happen to free up the debt market, the credit freeze that we were in very briefly. Those capital injections into the financial system had to happen. But that was it. Let the market stay low. Let's have a real economy. No, they had to inflate it all like they did now. President Trump had to hyperinflate it. So this would give them an opportunity now to nationalize industries, to nationalize corporations. It's so sick. But it was a plan many years, decades in the making, and it has absolutely fallen into place. I think a lot of us believed it wouldn't happen during our lifetime, but it's here now. A lot of people didn't believe we were going to get negative yields here in the United States. I do recall someone explaining to you, oh yeah, it was me, that this would happen. And here it is. It's here now. And it's about to get monumentally worse. There is no doubt about it. You can expect the rest of the curve to follow. You can expect the Fed to go negative, which means you're going to pay your institutions. We're all in this together. You know that. You see the commercials being circulated? We're all in this together, which means you should be happy that you will at one point be forced to pay the banks, because we have to bail them out too. You personally have to bail them out. I guess this is kind of like a bail-in, wouldn't you say? When they go negative and then you see that they're siphoning cash out of your accounts. Hold on a second. I had X. Now I have X minus X. Oh, but we're all in this together. So you should be happy about it. This is the new norm. I want you to Google the new norm and the new reality. These two phrases, the new norm, new reality, are everywhere. They're trying to brainwash you into believing that, okay, everything is fine. This is the new norm. This is new reality. Get used to it, because we're all in this together. We're all in it together. You know that. Except for the vampires who live in the shadows, who run everything that way. And they're going to suck you dry. I mean, literally suck you dry. And many people are going to die. Many people are going to die. So that's pretty much where we are at. I think I covered most of what I wanted to. I always forget something the moment I stop recording, I go, oh, I forgot to say that. But I think I covered what's important here. Let's just summarize real quick. What was a pretty monster rally on Wall Street fizzled out. NASDAQ finishes in the negative. We'll see where this market goes. The Fed's buying everything. Everything. So there's no real market whatsoever. Not like we had one for the past few years. It's been nothing but a hyperinflated bubble. We now have negative bond yields here in the United States. That's about to get much worse too. With regard to predicting this market, give it your best shot. Okay. My read on this market has been pretty much spot on, but right now, my crystal ball is a little cloudy here. With now the Fed doing what they're doing, buying the world, nationalizing corporations, picking winners and losers, it's going to be very difficult. But that does not mean that what's happening on the ground isn't going to fall apart. And we're going to see some of that when we get these unemployment numbers. And how many of you believe these numbers are going to be real? I don't, but we're all in this together. We're all in it together. Love you. Please share this video, and I'm out of here.